Welcome back to the Buds in the Box YouTube channel. Before we get started, make sure you guys go check out our sponsors below. Use code BUDS20 at manscaped.com and code BUDS15 at thepeoplescup.ca. Without further ado, let's get into the video topic. And today's video topic is rating the Leafs off season. Now, personally, I think Kyle Dubas did a really good job, contrary to what everyone has been saying. But I give it a solid B+. What do you guys rate it?
I think a solid B for me is good because you guys know my history with Frederik Andersen and my personal opinion on him. I don't know. I've never really thought he was the Maple Leaf starter, and that was apparent last year. And now we've changed the team for the better, I think. And I think the addition of Mrazek, who I've always thought has been a pretty good goalie, he plays very similar to Campbell. So I think hopefully the goalie coach is going to have a ball here. They play to stop the puck. They don't play kind of positionally, kind of like Freddie. You can compare them there. And I think it's a B just off goalies. And we'll get into the other signings, but I think the Mrazek Campbell tandem will be a good one.
Felly?
I give it a C or C+ because the team got no better. The team is worse than it was last year, and that's saying something. Like this team just loses in the first round every year, so something big has to change, and nothing big changed. Like adding Mrazek instead of Andersen it does nothing. It's like the same, it does nothing. Campbell was good in the playoffs. That wasn't the issue. Goaltending wasn't the issue in the playoffs. That's more a regular season thing. They're going to play whoever's hot in the playoffs, and Campbell was hot, and he did perfectly fine. That was not the issue they lost. The issue they lost was because they have no left winger depth, and the defense isn't solid enough. So looking at the defense, it's weaker than it was last year. And looking at the forwards, you lost Hyman, who's your only left winger, and have no left wingers now.
Well, I appreciate
Nick Ritchie
okay.
is the only left winger, and he's a third line player. He's going to play on the first line of the Toronto Maple Leafs? I don't think so. Ondrej Kase is another third line player. He's skilled. He's more skilled. He could play, on the second line with Tavares Nylander or something like that. They signed 2 third liners to play in the top 6. So that's an issue.
I definitely appreciate your optimism, Felly. But I agree with Jude, and I agree with Felly as well. I feel like they did a good job with that Frederik Andersen thing because Andersen did want a lot, and obviously they couldn't afford him if they were going to sign a few guys. And I think they got a better goalie for a cheaper price. That's just my opinion. I know stats will say otherwise, but I just feel like Mrazek is the better goalie here on a cheaper contract. I think that's pretty fair to say.
It is better.
Yeah.
But it wasn't a weakness.
Right. In the playoffs specifically, I think in the regular season, it was kind of controversial.
In the regular season, it was tough because Andersen got injured and Campbell became the starter, and he had his crazy 10-game winning streak thing. And then they signed Ritchie, or they traded for Ritchie, who turned out to be horrible. But that's aside from all that matters really is that they made the playoffs, which they did. And then what happens in the playoffs. So in the playoffs, Campbell was completely perfect. In my eyes, he made one goal was his fault the entire series.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, that's perfectly fine. You have to be able to count on your goalie like that. So that wasn't a weakness in my eyes. Campbell's not a weakness on the Leafs team. If you're going from bottom to top, you look at the goalies first, the goalies were okay last year, and now they're a bit better. So I give them that. The defense is worse, and the forwards are a bit worse. So there you go. That's why I think it's worse. The team just didn't get better. You have to make a change. I don't know.
Yeah, I see. My point is completely to the opposite of that. And I think you do bring up a good point. From last year's regular season team to this year's, it is worse. I completely agree with you there. The only thing that I feel the reason the reason I gave it a B+ was because Kyle Dubas knew that team last year, they couldn't have won a Stanley Cup. There was no way. They weren't tough enough. And there were so many reasons why they couldn't. But I think the additions that they did this year were for the playoffs, right?
What makes them tougher this year?
Well, they added Curtis Gabriel, who, he fights a lot and he can hit
And they lost Zach Bogosian.
Bogosian, right?
He's a tough guy, so give me another guy.
Okay.
Curtis Gabriel is not going to play every game.
Okay, Curtis Gabriel, Nick Ritchie. That's probably the biggest acquisition.
Zach Hyman.
Right, but Zach Hyman didn't average.
Zach Hyman's a better Nick Ritchie.
No, Nick Ritchie. Okay, first of all, Nick Ritchie averages 3 hits a game. That is very, very, very good. Because when Austin Matthews plays best when he's physical. So if that line can be extremely physical, there's 0 weaknesses in their game right there. Right? He had the same amount of goals as Hyman last year. They both had 15 goals. Right? And Ritchie played on the third line while Hyman played with one of the best passers in the league and with the Rutgers Sharp winner. Right? So we basically got a Hyman that can hit better, score the same for a third of the contract, right?
No one has
That's
the
how
same
I
heart
see
as
it.
Hyman. No one has the same heart as Hyman. And if you're an
Right,
Oilers
that's
fan
true.
watching this, I just want you to know that you have to treat Hyman like he is a little he's like he's your child. Please treat him well. We miss him and we love him.
Hey guys, it's your host Eric from the Buds in the Box. We're just going to take a quick break from the video and play you this message from Manscaped, so make sure you guys go check them out at manscaped.com. Attention listeners from across the galaxy, all the way from Australia to Houston, do we have a pube problem? If so, our friends at Manscaped have cleared you for takeoff with their 4th generation and brand new Lawnmower 4.0. Kick your pubes to the next planet with the Performance Package 4.0. The orbit in your pants will feel like you're in zero gravity when you use the best tools for the job from the leaders in male grooming. Join the 2 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped and get your rocket ready for takeoff by going to manscaped.com for 20% off plus free shipping with the code BUDS20. Guys, trust me when I say this, Manscaped is the best male grooming website. Anything you need, they have on there. This month, they sent us a package. They sent us another Weed Whacker and the cologne. The cologne smells awesome. The Weed Whacker is amazing. And of course, check out the Lawnmower 4.0. He will have a 100-point season.
No, he won't.
Dude, McDavid had like 100 and whatever point season in 50 games. So I think if Hyman,
yeah, but on Edmonton, the only guys that get points are McDavid and
Draisaitl.
Yeah, but you'll be adding
the other guys don't get points. Like Yamamoto, it doesn't matter who's playing with McDavid; they don't get points
because they're not good.
Yamamoto didn't get points, did he?
Zach Hyman will get points. Trust me, especially if he's on that power play.
He'll get points, but he's not going to get 100 points.
Okay, but that's a little off topic.
Well, speaking of special teams, as Eric just said, we can get into another signing here that was kind of under the radar. But I mean, I personally thought it was good because I've seen a lot of Blackhawks fans who were actually upset about this signing, and that's David Kampf. I don't know if you guys have heard about him, but he is from the Blackhawks, and he's actually a great penalty kill specialist, which is something that we needed, right? As we've all talked about this, right? We had Spezza, but how much can Spezza do, right, at his age? And Kampf is actually a very good signing and for a very low price. And then also, we can get into that, but I also thought Bunting was a pretty sick signing. And I also, when me and the boys were talking, I called this. I'm 100% sure. I said, how sick would it be if Bunting played for us? Just as a joke. And then because when he was going off with Arizona at the beginning of the season, we were talking something fantasy, and I just remember calling it.
I'm taking Bunting in fantasy this year.
Yeah, he's playing with Tavares.
Also, so just to touch on that point, I hate to be like this negative about it, but like you said, yeah, Kampf is a good penalty killer. It's just like, yeah, it's like a Hyman replacement though. So what really changes? Hyman is a great penalty killer. So nothing to me got better. Like everything just stayed the same or got worse.
For the playoffs, though, it got better. You have to agree. For the playoffs, we are
there's
better.
No playoffs without a regular season.
But we're basically a shoo-in. If you have we're Matthews and Marner on that line, we're basically a shoo-in. I don't care what you say. There's no way we don't make the playoffs. Sure, it's a tough
Okay.
division,
I'm
but
sure the Leafs will do completely great against Boston in the first round, right?
well, yes, with their new additions.
And
I mean, we
Florida,
basically
yeah.
took two of their
Because
great players
Radko
in the
Gudas
playoffs.
is gonna hit Marner through the glass,
Oh
and
my
this
God.
and the series is gonna be over in the first minute.
Okay, but I actually do have to agree with you there, Jude. I really like that Bunting signing. He didn't perform as well in the World Championships as I would like to see.
I
10
don't
games,
care
6
about that.
points. Yeah, I mean that doesn't really matter at the end of the day. Like his performance with the Coyotes, 10 goals in 21 games. I mean, that's really, really good. That shows top 6 potential. I think that's what Kyle Dubas was going for. I like to call it the Vegas method. This is basically my whole point tied in. The Vegas method. They take those guys that are on the third line, like Nick Ritchie, Andre Kase, and Michael Bunting, guys who are about to explode into the NHL. Guys, like I wrote a few players down that turned out to be like this. What was it? It was Marchessault, Carlson, Holla, and Tuck.
Marchessault is kind of tough to talk on.
Okay, he did have that 30-goal season, right? But he was so underrated in the NHL.
He's just breaking into the NHL,
right? But you know what I mean, like
season,
players that
like...
go under the radar. Okay, right? Bunting, like if you put Nick Ritchie and Bunting on like 82 game paces, they both had 30-goal seasons, right? Like that's basically what you're saying. So
but you don't do that, because if we said that about everything, Austin Matthews would have thousands and thousands of goals right now if he stayed on a 4 goal per game 82 game pace after his first NHL game. So you can't say that. It's about consistency.
Right. The Ryan Pulling.
I mean, honestly, I think the biggest thing is we got two hometown boys, and both of them said how excited they are to play for this city. And I mean, not a lot of players say that because honestly, who wants to play for this city with the fans and the way they treat their players? There's no real reason to play unless you're from here, like Tavares or someone. There's no real reason to play for us or have enjoyment in playing for us. So actually hearing something like Curtis Gabriel saying that he's going to play his heart out every single minute, and then same with Bunting saying how excited he is, it's just great things to hear as a Leafs fans.
Yeah, that is. You're right. It's all fun and games until Curtis Gabriel, sits in the press box for the first half of the season. And,
True.
Probably will.
And,
unless Thornton retires and then he takes his spot on that.
Thornton's not coming back.
Yeah, I don't think so. He can have fun in HC Davos.
HC Davos right now.
Davos, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, all around, we are a better playoff team than last year. I think, in my opinion, right? Could you guys agree to that?
I can't. I just can't.
Right, but even if you sign all these guys, like if Kasha, Bunting, or Ritchie turns out to be a top 6 forward, I think that's a win. I think because we got all these guys for cheap and we got that depth. You could easily put away Kampf and Kasha's contract by burying it in the NHL very easily. And then you have 2 wingers that could potentially be top 6, right? We just have to see if the chemistry and they have the fit there with, Tavares or Austin Matthews and Marner, right? Another thing you could do, move up Kerfoot to that second line, because he did play well with Nylander last year. Unfortunately, we don't have Galchenyuk back. I would have liked to see that. But I think with what Dubas had, he did a decent job. I don't think you could have done any better than what he did.
Okay, if that was the question, then sure. With the money he had, I mean, he came to Toronto and he was left with like Joffrey Lupul's LTIR contract, and he was left with some pretty bad contracts, and Kessel's contract, which they're still paying. I think
we are 1.5 or something.
He was left with some bad stuff, but he also ruined a lot of the cap, and I actually have zero faith in Kyle Dubas. It's I want the Leafs to win. I hope that he proves me wrong and they win the cup. That would be the best thing that ever. Literally, that would be the high point of my life. But I don't have any faith in him. I think he's gonna get fired after this season because they're probably gonna get another first round exit. It's just bound to happen. And they're not good enough to get. In my eyes, they're not good enough to get past the first round. I mean, unless they go on some crazy winning streak that during the season they look great. I said even then. Like, I
We
want
had a
them to
great
look
winning.
good.
We had a great winning streak this season.
Yeah.
True.
What does that do?
Like I want them to be to like do well and do great, and like I'm gonna be cheering for them, but like I just have no faith in Kyle Dubas. That's it. And why would I? He's given us no reason to have faith in him.
Yeah, that is right. I mean, I guess like the fairest thing to say is he didn't have much resources. He did the best job that he could. It's decent. If these players turn out to be top 6, I think that we will be a good team next year. But it's all next year, and I guess we'll see it in the future. So thank you guys for watching the Buds in the Box YouTube channel. Make sure you guys do enter the jersey giveaway down below. We'll do the winners next episode. We missed a few months, so make sure you guys stay tuned for that. Make sure you leave a comment and a like on this video. This has been the Buds in the Box YouTube channel. Bye for now.